Okay, let's continue on. Now, before we continue on with the next step or going back over and reviewing this again, I want to just take a moment and step back in time here and go back to my other lessons. If you haven't already gone back and seen them, please go back and watch. I'll try and keep this brief, but the reason I emphasize so strongly that you use the WordPad program or Notepad is because, quite honestly, the reason you want to take notes is when you're dealing with using a tool, okay, such as the text font, selection tool, layer selection, color choices, you can see that the possibilities for this are almost limitless. I mean, just with those 4 options, even in the MS Paint program, it's crazy, okay? So please take copious notes. Please use your WordPad. That's what it's there for. If you're not familiar with it or you're not used to practicing it, or you say, oh, my work's not good enough, I can't save it because it's just junk. Well, the reason you create junk and you save it is so that you can be reminded later, hey, that's where I made the mistake. I won't do that again. So go ahead and save your work. 2 years, 3 years down the road, you want to get rid of it, that's fine. But for now, practice saving your work. And the reason I'm bringing this up is just dealing with the fonts. If you haven't already gone and downloaded fonts, I do encourage you to go online and do a search. Search for the different fonts, and here's just a few examples. The Beantown text font, the Cowboys font, the Judas Priest font. These are just a few of what are out there for free. And each one of these, if you look at my drop down here in the WordPad program, I've got a pretty long list, and this isn't literally by no means exhaustive or extensive. These are just a few of the fonts that I picked up. And if I do mention these, you can actually search these online and you'll probably find the website to put these up. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is if you don't take notes, and in this case, you don't make a note on what the font is that you're using when you're doing something in a project, you're going to scratch your head, because trying to remember what the font was when you go back and you see something that you did and you didn't take notes on it, guess what? You're going to have to start all over again from scratch, and that really slows you down. You will get frustrated and you will want to quit. So please take notes. Keep track of the colors you use. If you can't identify the specific color, you can say custom blue or what have you. In most cases, they will give you a letter number. When placing objects within the MS Paint program and the Paint.net program, when you're placing something on the canvas, you have that reference. Now, let me illustrate here. Let me open up the Paint.net here. If you look right down here in the bottom where my mouse is, you can see 800 by 600. And if I click on a tool, such as my magic wand, if I start moving it around, it should give me an option here. Let me see. Should give me an option. Yeah, right here. You take a look down here, you should be able to see the option of where the cursor is moving. And you'll notice the numbers down here on the bottom right corner on the status bar, again, going back to the MS Paint program. These are very important tools because as you see these moving, this is telling you where your cursor's at. This is literally telling you right to the pixel where you're putting your paint or not putting your paint. When you're doing graphics work, when you're doing animation work, that's going to become absolutely critical. Now, I want to review a little bit deeper than this because, quite honestly, I want to take you back a little further before we get on with some more stuff here. People say, well, I can't do just basic things, or I can't do things with a basic program like Paint. I need to have Paint.net, or I need to have a great program. The fact of the matter is, if you take a look at this, you see gradient text, you see text that's upside down, you see a mirrored text, and to be completely honest with you, this and all of my early work, everything that you see before the Paint.net series, every graphic that you see that comes up on the screen was done in MS Paint. It's no lie, no joke. There were a couple of cheats for rotating text early on, but Basically, all I used was the paint program. So going back, please review those lessons, because those are going to be very invaluable to you in picking up the new lessons. Now, you say, well, I can't draw stick figures. Okay. Well, if you can't draw stick figures, how about hearts? Okay. I created hearts, and I did this all in the MS Paint program, and believe me, I'm not joking when I say I can't draw stick figures. Okay. All I did was I practiced and practiced and practiced until I got one decent heart. Once I got one decent heart, then I just learned how to copy and paste it. Then I started playing with the different things, and this is what you see. Looks like a box of candy. Well, that's exactly what it'll be for you if you practice. Here's another good example. Started out with just some line art, a gradient that I made in the MS Paint program, and started tweaking around with a few different options and some side-to-side gradients, and you can see the effect. Not a bad effect and not a bad result for a simple MS Paint program. Okay, just so you know, it's not difficult. It just takes an understanding of the basics, how to layer the things on top of each other, how to work in stages, and in the MS Paint program you open up several windows to create the layers. The nice thing about the MS Paint program, or not the MS Paint program, but the Paint.net program, is it allows you to layer your work while you're watching it versus having to open one window and go to the next one and then try to match everything up. This is a lot nicer. So anyway, let's go back here, and you can see right here, I can actually make the text disappear. This is a pretty cool effect. Just one problem. This isn't even an effect. This is just me opening and closing, or minimizing and maximizing the same picture in two different paint windows. If you understand how they work, it goes from being something mystifying to something very simple. You can actually see the effect by just clicking on this, and all you're seeing is the letter colors changing. Now let's go back here to the other options. You notice the Eldorado font. You notice the different highlights and different things that I've done with the colors on the fonts. These are all done in the MS Paint program. This isn't the Paint.net program. This was just me doodling around a little bit, okay, using the different fonts. Please practice. Please work on taking notes, because if you don't take good notes, it's going to be gibberish to you the next time you try opening your Paint program. Okay, now let's step in here. We're going to go back here to selecting, and then transferring your selection into something else. Now, I'm going to pull up some text here, and not to make it too tough here, we're going to do this one more time. Now, if you haven't been watching, I'm on layer number 10, and this is the black text layer with text choice as what's on the canvas. Now, you pick your magic wand tool, you push and hold your control button, and you pick each letter one at a time until you get all your letters highlighted. Now, once you've got all those highlighted, you uncheck this, and you can see the outline of the choice. But you want to move up here to the next layer above layer number 10. Okay. Now you can use anything from your gradient tool to your effects tools, and you can go down and you can create any number of different things. We'll pick this up in a minute.